So the first thing about Coombs, at the top I want you to write ABO incompatibility, because you got to know about that. ABO incompatibility. Write that at the top where you got a little space. We're going to put all our little notes at the top. So ABO incompatibility. Here's how that goes. Mommy is O. Daddy is either A, B, or AB. That's the only way ABO incompatibility can happen. Now this has nothing to do with Rhogam. We did not talk about Rh negative or positive. We just said ABO incompatibility. So now we're just dealing with the letters. Mommy is going to build up antibodies to daddy's blood type. And if the baby is daddy's blood type, well, then of course, we are going to cause some ABO incompatibility. This is going to show up as some mild hemolysis. Hemolysis is R, B, C, destruction. We said that already, which is going to mean the death of red blood cells is called bilirubin and gives a jaundice color in the newborn. And for some of these little pumpkins, it means they need lights. It means they need billy lights, as you guys know. Okay. Now we run two tests, and that's what that handout is talking about. One is a indirect Coombs. This is mommy. The other one is a direct Coombs. And this is cord blood or baby at birth. So the baby is born and I collect cord blood from the placenta. When the baby is born, I collect the cord blood from the placenta. And this is showing me whether there's antibodies on the baby's blood. Direct Coombs. Know the two terms. Okay. Now, mind you, that had nothing to do with Rhogam. Agree? Nothing at all. Don't get confused. It has shit to do with it. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is take your little highlighter, because now we're going to talk about Rhogam. All we did now was talk about ABO incompatibility. Now we're going to talk about some Rhogam. If you look on your handout, it says Rh sensitization. This, by the way, is genetic. Whether or not you're Rh negative is genetic. The mother, if a pregnant woman with Rh negative blood has a baby with Rh positive blood, you had to know the term Rh sensitization. Rh sensitization. You had to know that term, so I will highlight that. Now, in the little space, either at the top or on the second page or wherever you want to write it, I give you guys 3 rules for Rhogam. You heard some of it earlier. 3 rules for Rhogam. Rule number 1, all pregnant women, I should say, who are Rh negative, get Rhogam at 28 weeks. What's the only exception? Jehovah's Witness, because it's a blood product. The only exception is Jehovah's Witness, because it is indeed a blood product. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, all Rh negative moms who delivered an Rh positive baby get Rhogam within 72 hours of delivery. So that's number 2. Rule number 3. This is the hard one. All Rh negative women whose blood may have mixed with the fetus get Rhogam. And we talked about those times. We said miscarriages, we said placenta previa, we said placenta abruption, cerclage surgery. You had to put some things that are more popular on tests. They include these. Anytime there's an amnio or CVS. Those are more popular on tests. Anytime there's an amnio or a CVS, you have to give Rhogam. You don't need to know yet. It's a genetic test. But yeah, so there you go. You got it going on. Okay. All righty. Multiple gestation, you don't have to go crazy about, but you do have to understand they are high risk. The high risk comes into play because they expand the maternal uterus and they put her at risk for a postpartum hemorrhage, placenta abruption, placenta previa, premature labor, so they're not without risk, they're extremely high risk. And they run in the family. They're God's most beautiful anomaly. Or genetic defect, as the case may be. Okay. I want you to turn to a sheet that says contraction so we can get this blue part off. I'm going to leave these up here because it's long, but I want to get all this blue out of the way, which is easy. You see a paper that says contractions. You just keep on turning. There you go. Boom. Clue to contractions. This is an important section here, the little blue part. I want you to make sure you know that there are 3 things that happen before babies come out. And one has to happen first, and that would be effacement. Effacement has to happen first. And this is where we're talking about the thinning of the cervix. It's talked about in terms of percentages. So when it's completely thin, we say it's 100% effaced. And when we're looking at this concept, I always tell you to take your fingers and feel this part between your thumb and your finger. So if you go inward, it feels very thick the farther you go in. As you come to the edge, that's what a cervix feels like. It's super thin. This is 100%, this is like 50%. So it has to thin all the way out to be able to slip over the head. Okay.